Yes, people's Keisha and Prince. Today we're talking about the reason why many fail to make it at the top. Part one. Let's go. Something like Julian, should I say, Lescott, former English centre back, played for City, played for Everton, etc., and he's currently the coach for the under 21s for England. Spoke about the most important thing that separates the greats is not just their skill, what they've done, but the decision making. And this is the big issue, and this is something that I keep telling everybody. You hear me say always on the channel, is how important that you must be focused on this attribute and how better you can make the right decisions, and how better you can be understanding the game, how better you can be to making quicker decisions. And this just goes down to you to be able to make it at the top level and stay longer in the game. Something that the City players took part in a Batak challenge, which is a machine like this at the top, where they had to basically react to each lighting area. They did it against a Formula One professional NATO. As you know, Norman NATO and F1 players or people have to have a very quick reaction time because of the speed that they're driving and the turns, etc. And he scored 51. John Stones got 50, and then you got Odegaard, the keeper, came in second in the City players, and Haaland came last. But if you watch the video, Haaland looked like he wasn't really trying that much. But they went to say how important it is. John Stones saying if reaction time is the difference between him getting to the ball to prevent a goal. Haaland saying the same thing. Him be able to react to getting behind, scoring a goal. There's so much. You can watch the video. Obviously, I can't put it in because of copyright. They'll flag it up. But you can go and check it out. The Batak Challenge Man City players, and you see what they said. Now, the reason I'm saying this is because Arsene Wenger, somebody that always speaks about this. I remember years ago I went down there and heard him speak, and one of the things that he always mentions about is how he sees top players coming through the academy, brilliant players scoring 30 goals, 50 goals, all over the news, on Rising Ballers, on the next big thing. FM, they're giving the best rating, FIFA best rating. And he's like, then he don't see them materialize to top players. And that's always been his study, his passion to find out why is it that players cannot make it at the top. And one of the things that he did mention in a interview 2017, actually quite a long time ago, he mentions this about how you need to have a flexible mind in order to compete. And he goes on to say, what's certainly a bigger request for modern players to have is a mental flexible decision. He goes on to say why, because of the player today has to adapt to so much different systems, but also because in the modern game, the solutions available for the players on the pitch disappear so quickly that you have to change your mind on the ball very quickly. You have to be flexible in your decision making and not to be stubborn. You have to choose a solution on the pitch, but option disappears again very quickly. I would say 20 years ago, the solution disappeared 1.5 seconds. Today, it maybe goes down to 0.2 or 0.3. Wenger then carry on to say, I'm seeing now players who can't make it at the top level purely because they don't possess this flexible mind or flexibility in their mind. Basically, when a player has the ball, he has a number of green lights around him. These lights become very red quickly, so they have to choose another green light. And if I don't do that quickly enough, that will turn red as well. That is certainly when you have to adapt within a system, and one of the biggest modern problems the players face. So as he said today, he's seeing now players who can't make it at the top level purely because they don't possess this flexibility in their mind. You know how huge this is. And this is why when I speak to players and I say to you, what are you doing in your training sessions? Because non-league and most academy players until a certain age, you train 2 to 3 times a week, which is not enough. And this is another thing why other countries are surpassing English academy, because they spend more hours in a training field doing training game situations. Therefore, they will make better decisions. And I believe if England can increase the number of time that they train within a team setting, get the amount of hours in doing simulations, then we will see a better crop of players coming through. Because if you look at this stats that I just showed you, Bolton's probably the only academy that's training the most. Then you got Chelsea and you've got Fulham. And look how outside of Europe. I want to give you the solution in terms of how can you maximize your training session in order for you to develop a quicker or better mental flexible mind. Then one of the things that you need to be able to do is download an app called Switched On. Now, Switched On is an app that I've been using for many years, and I'll tell you this, that it's something that I wish I got in early, in my early years as a teen. And you know, I vouch for them because what they do is they really cause you to react like in a game. Obviously there's certain stimulus that doesn't touch, but the decision or stimulus of you reacting and to make a decision is something that cannot be manipulated by yourself. You need something other than yourself to manipulate those variables. And so, you know, if you're doing, for example, ball retention, instead of you doing ball retention drills, which everybody does, you see it on YouTube, or I do this for 30 seconds. Anybody can do that in the game. I mean, sorry, not in the game. Anyone can do that. But can you do that in the game at the right time when you've got to quickly change the decision? So this is where, you know, you can have these drills like ball retentions, soul rolls, toe taps, for example, feint, step overs, let's say, you know, all these skills, and you just reflect them in a color. So let's say ball retention, so let's say roll drags or soul drags, so let's say is red, toe taps is blue, feints is yellow, you know, etc, etc. And what you do is, and if you have the premium version, which is even better, you can put the picture of the skill on your phone. You can have it on a tripod or anything there, settled down, and then whenever it flicks to a skill, you just react and do it. It may be on the screen. You can put the screen how long you want to do it for. I'll say do it to about 0.6, 0.7. You want to be sharp, and then if it goes to another skill, then you got to quickly adapt. That is more effective than doing 1 minute of soul rolls with little stimulus in the brain, because you cannot correlate that into a game situation. I'm just telling you now. Then if you're doing pass and receive on the wall, again, instead of you just doing 1,000 passes, etc., which if you see in my program, what I suggest, you get the switch on app, and you can let the app tell you whether to take a touch, whether for you to go back on your back foot, etc. Those are stimuluses that you cannot fake, you know, by yourself. You need to have another stimulus to create that. And these are many drills that I can suggest. I'll probably do another video. If you want me to do another video on certain stimulus drills that can help you, let me know. But this is something that I believe everyone needs to understand. If you're going to make it in today's game, you have to have a mental, flexible mind. And in your training sessions that you're able to do, make sure that you are training this area.